Social media is always more than it seems. It isn't just about brain rot or ignoring your real life responsibilities or trying to become famous. And it never was. The people in power will always try to convince you that the most popular social media platform at any given time is hurting children and destroying the very fabric of our nation. But I've always found it interesting to see how quickly they backpedal the instant the next big thing comes out. Some of you may not be old enough to remember this, but they tried to make outrageous claims about MySpace and Facebook back in the day. Yeah, Facebook. The government's golden child was even on the chopping block at one point. Just about every platform was. And the frustrating part of the social media hate train is the fact that it stems from two places most of the time. Either a few individuals who, of course, happen to be louder than the rest, never bother actually interacting with the platforms they hate. They hear one or two horror stories, and that automatically makes a platform a dangerous place. Then the pearl clutchers of the world listen as a select few ascend their pedestals of self virtue and shout that all they care about is protecting the children. And of course, the other camp of people who happen to hate just about every social media that you can conceive of are the ones being paid by one to hate the other. Lobbying really is a big part of a lot of our goings on in this nation, and it shouldn't be. Now, I do want to make something very clear. Social media is not perfect. It has indeed caused harm to people over the years with dangerous trends and data leaks, and in some cases, that harm is irreversible. However, it can be easily argued that just about any means of communication can become dangerous if placed in the wrong hands. Phones can be wiretapped or hacked. Postmail can be intercepted by people with ill intentions. Dangerous people will always find a way to gain access to their prey, and it isn't the responsibility of social media owners and users to keep children safe. So your kid is losing their attention span because they spend too much time on a brain rot app, or they're starting to be preyed upon by creeps. Use resources like Family Link so your kid can only access specific platforms that you approve of, and they only get a specific allotment of screen time every day. At the end of the day, it has always been the duty of the parents to monitor their children's safety, not random netizens. As far as the whole argument that China is using this app to steal our data goes, let's be real. The only people who truly believe that have never actually had a TikTok account and believe the first Fox News anchor they see every morning. It was never about stealing data, otherwise Zuck would have been in the slammer by now. I decided to do some independent research because I like having my facts straight. I try my best to always see both sides of an argument and come to my own conclusions on who I think is correct. Out of all the meta lawsuits that have been documented so far, about 40% of them had something to do with data leaks. Sometimes they were accidental, which is still a big deal, and other times, he just fully handed it over to other countries and other businesses. Sometimes even countries that, yes, the United States is not on the best terms with, but I don't hear the United States government talking about that. People like Zuck take advantage of the fact that most people don't bother reading the terms and conditions before downloading an app. And even if they do try to read it, they usually don't understand the jargon within it. By the way, thanks, Sean, for helping so many people remain informed over the last few years. You're a real one. Anyway, we should all feel downright offended that our government honestly thought we would buy the idea that a TikTok ban would have anything to do with Chinese spyware. Do they really think we're that stupid? I mean, they haven't even bothered elaborating, not even when they were trying to give arguments to the Supreme Court. Surely, if it was this serious, they would have explained what kind of spyware is being used so that we can be wary of it on the next big social media platform. Because let's face it, it's not going to end with TikTok. Eventually, someone will come up with an even better algorithm than the one that we have here. Shouldn't we know what to look out for? Surely they would have explained in great detail exactly what our information is being used for. If some random office worker in China is sitting at his desk this morning monitoring how often I watch this little cone cat or how often I've rewatched this hilarious Johnny Bravo cosplayer, well, I hope I gave that dude some joy, but I highly doubt that he's any more than a figment of my imagination. To conclude this video, I want to take a moment to talk about TikTok itself. I didn't have an interest in creating an account here when it first appeared. Then COVID happened. I lost 13 people and a few pets over the first year of COVID alone. literally at least one person every month. It got so bad for me that I didn't get out of bed for weeks, and I was so overwhelmed by anxiety and sadness over what I might hear on the next phone call with my family that I was barely interacting with anyone anymore. Then I took a chance and downloaded what at the time was considered just a silly dance app. After all, what did I have to lose? I was stunned by the algorithm and how easy it was to find a community there. I found myself laughing again, interacting with content more than I ever had on another platform, and eventually, I was actually fully communicating with people again. And I'm not the only one. There are people with full-blown agoraphobia on this app who have used it as a means to finally get themselves out of their house, to talk to people. They've reached points where they can actually say hello to people on the street when they're taking a walk. That is not something that can be understated. TikTok has allowed people to feel less alone. It has allowed people to realize that their therapists, their doctors, their partners, their parents may not have been treating them the way they deserve to be treated. TikTok has allowed numerous unhoused individuals to quickly and easily crowdfund so they had a place to stay because they actually have a chance at being seen here. This platform has allowed people to become more educated in animal care, child care, art, science, human rights, and we were able to become connected to people outside the United States. So many people here have said that through TikTok, they've realized that their perception of other countries is nothing more than United States propaganda, and that by interacting with individuals outside their country, they've realized how terribly the United States government treats us, and a new fire has been lit underneath them. They want to organize. They want to do something to make their lives better. That's another net positive of TikTok. It has allowed communities to organize and fight for what they believe in more quickly and easily than any other platform has allowed them to in the past. And it works. It actually works here. We've seen protests and boycotts on TikTok actually create real change. And we don't want that to be taken away. Should TikTok fall on Sunday, I have loved every moment I've shared with all of you. I have appreciated your knowledge and the smiles you've brought to my face. I know another platform will come along. After all, we have a MySpace sister already. Neptune is on the horizon. Clapper and Xiaohongshu are gaining more traction every day. But at the end of the day, there will never be another TikTok again.
How lovely it was. Many's the time that we feasted, and many's the time that we fasted. Oh, well, it was swell while it lasted. We did have fun and no harm done. Too bad it all had to go haywire. That's life, I guess.
Strictly entre nous. Darling, how are you?
And how are all those little dreams that never did come true?
Awfully glad I met you.
Cheerio and toodaloo.
Thank you.
Thank you.